we back. Continuing the season preview. We on week 7 so far. We've done week 1 Cardinals, Chargers, week 2, week 3 the Philadelphia Eagles, week 4 the Chiefs, bye week, and then I think it's a Sunday night game versus the Green Bay Packers. Now week 7, October 20th, at Ford Field versus the Minnesota Vikings, a divisional opponent. So we play them twice, and we also get them week 14 in Minnesota. December 8th on Fox. All right. A team that didn't do a whole lot as far as major offseason upgrades. I think they re-signed Kyle Rudolph, and I don't think they need to do a lot. They got a really good team. I like their coach, Mike Zimmer. He can continue to get better as a coach, but I always like this mentality who's with Cincinnati. Looking at their roster, they got the usual suspect. I think they got one of the better duels in football, if not the best, and Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. Former Lion, Riley Reef, Pat Elfin as a guard. They got a rookie. I think their rookie is out of North Carolina State, Garrett Bradbury. They drafted him number 18 overall in the draft. Josh Klein is their right guard. I think he was a free agent, from Tennessee. Brian O'Neill is right tackle. Kyle Rudolph. They drafted Irv Smith. I like Irv Smith a lot. A little bit undersized at 6'2", I think, coming out of Alabama. He really is a good change of pace kind of tight end, and Kyle Rudolph with some good potential. Kirk Cousins, Michigan State on. We just talked about college earlier. Michigan State being ranked number 18. Dalvin Cook, love him coming out of Florida State. Got to stay healthy. And CJ Ham is their fullback. Daniil Hunter, they got him. We'll talk about him. He's probably one of their most underrated players. Daniil Hunter is an absolute beast. And shout out to Realistic Randy. He's a huge Minnesota Viking fan. I watch his channel, his platform all the time. So shout out to him. Linville Joseph, good run stopper. Who else they got? Shamar Stevens, Everson Griffin. Hopefully he healthy now. He dealt with a situation last year, mental health. Anthony Barr, we almost got Anthony Barr. He ended up going back to Minnesota. They paid him. Eric Kendricks, love him. Good linebacker out of UCLA. I think he could be a star in this league. Ben Gideon, Trey Waynes, another Michigan State guy. They got a young guy, Mike Hughes. I think he got like University of Florida. They drafted him last year, I believe. If I'm not, he's still on the PUP list though. Harrison Smith, absolute beast, one of their better defensive players with Daniil Hunter. Another underrated guy, I think. Anthony Harris, the safety, and Xavier Rhodes. They talked about trading him as well, but he's a really solid corner. Kicker Dan Bailey, he got a big leg. Remember he was with Dallas. Mike Wow is a punter. Kick returner Mir Abdullah. Punt returner Mir Abdullah. So Mir Abdullah, former Lion, and you got a few former Spartan guys. So you got a few local guys that played here, college or professional. I heard they shopping Laquan Treadwell as well. And Minnesota possesses a problem because they're a really good team. If they're able to run the ball with Dalvin Cook, and they also got a rookie, Madison Alexander out of Boise State. If they're able to get a good 1-2 punch from them, and they're able to run the ball, and maybe get Dalvin Cook involved in a passing game, he can stay healthy, and Madison can uphold his side of the end with their receivers and Irv Smith and Kyle Rudolph. They should be a playoff team. They got a chance to win a division, but the wild card is Kirk Cousins. He just plays better when there's no pressure on him. Sometimes he looked like a top 10 quarterback, and when it don't matter, like last year they played Green Bay and he played good coming from behind. And I think they end up pulling that game off at Lambeau, but he started a shitty start. It really start and begin with him and how good of a player he can be, but he just fizzles under the pressure, and that kind of was his issue at Michigan State. He just missing that it factor. He don't have the greatest arm, but he got a good enough arm, good enough accuracy. He just missing just something. He missing that something. He just don't seem to have that elite it factor that bring him over the hump. But when you talk about defense, they should be really, really good. And they got some problems on the front line, man. The offensive line ain't necessarily been that good, but if they're able to run the ball and get the short passing game going to the backs and get some balance going here, they should be all right. But defensively is, I think, where they gonna be treacherous for us. And I kind of talk about the Lion matchup with them. Is Daniil Hunter and Everson Griffin, if he healthy, coming off the edge, and Barr and Eric Kendricks is a good linebacker going down the middle of the field and, pretty good in coverage, at least coming out of college. And if Trey Waynes is really growing into his own, Xavier Rhodes, they're going to be tough. And Harrison Smith, he bring the pain. He got a lot of range, and he's their enforcer. Their defense look like a top 8 or 5 defense on paper, in my opinion. But it really comes down to depth and being healthy and what Mike Zimmer can do. But they possess some problems for us, man. If they're able to run the ball, we got an elite front, at least on paper, with Flowers and Harrison and Han and Daniels. We got elite line, and if we can force Kirk Cousins to have to drop back and pass, we get some pressure on him, he'll turn the ball over. So we match up pretty good with him defensively wise, man. It just really, they play Thielen in the slot. And if Coleman ain't as good as advertised, which Justin Coleman hasn't been so far in preseason, it's preseason. We don't have none of our real pass rushers out there, at least the starters. We only had 2 rotational guys play last week, and that's Awakwa, and that was Robinson. But once the pass rush get out there, I think he'd be better. But they might have to bracket Thielen and put Darius Slay on Diggs, and then hope that we got better coverage on the tight ends, which we did improve from the year before last. So I think we match up good, and it just boils down to, can the offense run the ball, and can Matthew Stafford put some points up with his weapons? Last year, Minnesota dominated us because we couldn't run the ball. They knew it, and their pass rushers was drooling at the mouth to destroy us. But if we can get some balance going, this division is tight. I think Chicago has got a leg or two up on everybody, but what kind of, brings them back down to earth is Trubisky. Nobody's scared of Trubisky. If you keep Trubisky in the pocket and don't let him improvise with his leg and make him make throws from the pocket, you got an opportunity to beat the Bears. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a power running game no more. And if you're able to chip or bump Tyreek Cohen and get physical with him, can that Montgomery kid take the load? We'll see. It's the reason why it's the college and the pros. But I think the Bears are the class of the division. But I think Minnesota can easily win a division. Or anybody else, to be honest. Aaron Rodgers, generational talent. Minnesota has got probably the best well-rounded team. But just like Chicago, their quarterback is the question. And then also they got some coaching issues, man. With, some of the people questioning Mike Zimmer being on the hot seat. With them bringing Kirk Cousins in and the defense kind of raveling. But they got the talent. They got the ballers in Hunter and Smith. And I suspect they should have a really good year. But I think we match up well with them. I think it'd be a close ball game. And we easily could split with them, man. But we need to get the one at the crib first. And then down the stretch, we'll see. But injuries happen, man. But if Dalvin Cook can stay healthy and this Madison Alexander guy can get him something, man, Minnesota going to be scared if they're able to run the ball and get the short passing game going. I know they got that new offensive coordinator. I think he took over last year calling plays. But, also got to watch out for Amir Abdullah having a big game. But it all boils down to Kirk Cousins and them being able to run the ball. If they're able to run the ball with success and then Kirk Cousins just got to make 1 or 2 big plays with his arm. I think if they can minimize it to that, if Kirk Cousins got to go out there and drop back 30 times, he got to make 7 to 10 great throws or important throws in the game. He's not going to win you a game, even with the receivers and the weapons he got, Irv and Rudolph at tight end. And also they got Diggs and Thielen out there. It's just not gonna work. They got to simplify the game. And if he do got to make big throws, they got to be short. And Diggs and Thielen got to get yak, and Cook got to get yak, and Rudolph and Smith got to do some things over in the middle and work in the seam. So Minnesota, I can see them winning it. This division is so skin tight, but I think we got a close, even matchup with them. But if Kirk Cousins step up and he live up to that contract, Minnesota could easily find themselves in the Super Bowl. But if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. He kind of in a similar status with Matthew Stafford. You know what I'm saying? Stafford seemed to got it, but Stafford is just drugged down by a piss poor organization. Kirk Cousins got a good structure around him, good head coach. We'll see if they got the coordinator, but it just seemed to be something missing with him, some intangible that we can't put our hands on to see. But I respect Minnesota coming in this year. Tough team, but I think we match up as good as them as anybody in the division. Probably not named the Chicago Bears, but we'll see, man. We'll see them when we see them. Once again, we'll see them week 7, and we'll see them week 14 in Minnesota. I don't know what they call their new stadium now. Used to be in the Metrodome. Week 7, we at the crib, and then week 14, they at their house. But hey, Motor City Sports Talk. Let me know what you guys think of the video. Shout out to all the Viking channels out there, man. They seem not to be too disrespectful, man. So shout out to them. And don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email. If you got business question, inquiry, response, video question, my email, and all my social medias in the description. Quickest way is Twitter and email. Check out the channel, Goodfellas Sports TV. Appreciate the love, support. We gone.